How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Transport Fever 2 and welcome back to Salem. Now, I want to go back to basics a little bit. The last episode was both way longer than it needed to be, had way more mistakes in it than there needed to be, and I just want to make things a little bit simpler for this one. Now, that's not to say they're not going to be doing a lot of things, but I want to look at Salem, and I want to use this as sort of the foundation for what I want to do in other cities. It's not that Salem's going to be the center of everything, it's just that we haven't really looked at Salem's needs for a while. For example, we're not really bringing in as many bricks as we need to be. We're bringing in a lot. 165 is kind of fantastic, but it could be 242. So what I think I'm going to do is have a look at this, because this guy is producing 600 right now, which is pretty solid. Or it could be. We're shipping 300 of 600 because this guy is not really able to make any more than 300. So if I go and have a little bit of a look here, I could go to this guy. I can say manage vehicles. We have 25 of them. Give me another 5 of them. And that brings my rate up to 264. Give me another 5 on top of that. That brings it up to 305. So now that that's up to 305, my hope is that we can kind of increase the production here and then increase the shipment here. And therefore, we're going to be able to level this thing up to make even more bricks. Now, production's already going up there, which is fantastic. If we look down this way, this guy is going to be pretty standard for a while. But that's the hope, is that we can manage to just level this thing up and really just get a massive number of bricks into Salem at any one time. Now, when it comes to the tools, it's kind of a similar story. We are doing pretty well in terms of the tools at the moment. We are doing 240 in the rate. Frequency is 36. Cargo is currently 52 of 120. And we don't have any tools in here right now, which is unfortunate. This guy only has 1 bit of steel on board. So this Oklahoma steel to tools line is really not doing what I thought it was going to do, which is a little bit worrying, actually, because I'm pretty sure these guys are supposed to stay here until they have a whole bunch of steel on board, which is what this guy is now doing. 10, 11, 12, and away he goes. So that's cool. I mean, this thing is absolutely full at the moment. Its production is pretty solid. Its shipment is increasing, which is great. But if we look at this line, a rate of 189 is, well, it is what it is. It could be a little bit better. It seems like this is climbing, though. I don't think we're ever necessarily going to see this thing's shipment reach this point where it's going to level up. It would be nice, but I think that's also partly because of the way the train's set up for this whole thing. That's the line that just brings the 1,200 iron and coal every year. So I don't know. I think the tools thing for Salem might just fluctuate quite a bit. I also want to deal with San Francisco's demands at some point today as well, because it keeps demanding construction materials. So hopefully we can do something about that. And you know, I'm also thinking might not be a terrible idea to look at another public transport line around Salem just while we're here, because some of these guys are crazy busy. So if I was to go here, we could do something that sort of goes in an opposite direction. We could even go so far as to say that maybe the opposite direction line doesn't go into this station. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but I think we're going to give it a shot and just see what happens, because we have some places up here that don't really have much in the way of public transport coverage. So we'll see what we can do. We'll bring something kind of this way. We'll bring something maybe down, I guess, this way. We could bring it into this neighborhood, though. That might be kind of interesting. So bring it down sort of onto this road here. Just change things up a little bit, get some coverage in that space. Bring it kind of down this way as well. I think that'd be kind of interesting. We'll have it stop in front of the train station. And I really have no idea where my where it's going to go from there. I guess to that stop. Is that good coverage? Sure. We'll call that some good coverage. We'll do one there as well. All right. So let's go new line, and we want to go from here to there. We want to go right into this guy. And I need to remember where I'm going with this. So we kind of go out and around like that. It then comes up this way. So it's sort of looping around the way I wanted it to go. Down to this stop, which is perfect. And then I think we did come down to this stop here. We come out this way. We're going to come down, and that seems pretty good. So that is going to be road passengers. That is going to be Salem with an M. And it's just going to be loop 2 is what it's going to be. So road passengers, Salem. Oh, we used to do Salem dash loop. Okay, well, we'll do Salem loop 1. And this guy is going to be bright red. And then we can get some vehicles for it as well. I don't think we have any new buses. We absolutely do not. Let's maybe do 8 of them. That seems like a pretty solid number. And we can also go ahead and have a look at loop number 1. It also has 8 vehicles. So hopefully that's going to help a little bit. Hopefully that will take some people away from the other lines, and hopefully that's going to improve the public transport connections in and around Salem as well. Although the emissions are terrible here, which isn't good. The quality of my stations kind of sucks as well, but that's because so many people are waiting, all of them. So hopefully we can start pushing people around. Like I said, hopefully we can get them into some of those other stations. Looking down here, this guy's still doing his thing. Looking at you. Hopefully we can level it up. I'm really, really hopeful that we can level it up. We do have a lot of trucks coming through here though. And some of these are, what do you do? Why are these like super old trucks? Have I not replaced these guys? I haven't. Oh my God, hold on a minute. So, wow. Okay, I haven't replaced them at all. What does that bring the rate? 526. Okay. You know what? Sure. That might be a little bit excessive. I'm not going to lie. 526. I mean, this thing can produce 600. It's never going to need to, but yeah, we'll do 526. That's fine. I mean, if anything, I could reasonably bring the number of vehicles down on that line now, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's go and grab maybe 10 of them. We can kind of reduce the emissions a little bit. So chop 10 of those out. It brings it down to 366. That seems a little bit more solid to me. So we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully this thing can get leveled up and hopefully we can deal with the bricks. Still at 154. So it's even lower than where it was. The tools thing, I mean, we're starting to see a bit more supply in here now all of a sudden. I'm not 100% sure why it's suddenly decided that there is an absolute excess of tools, but I'm not going to complain. Seems like a good thing. I'll tell you what I am going to do though. I'm going to go to this Salem bricks line right here because right now it comes into this spot and that's great, but we have demand for bricks all the way over here and all the way down here as well. So I'm going to move the bricks line a little bit. So we're going to go in, we're going to manage this line and we're going to say that after Salem East, which is this guy up here, you are going to go to this stop and you are going to go to this stop and you are not going to go to Mill Street anymore. And that means that we're now going to be splitting those bricks across 2 different stops, but I'm kind of okay with that. I kind of don't mind that in the slightest. Although what I would also kind of like to do is I'd like to get a waypoint and I want to put one up there because if I manage this line now after Salem East, let's add this waypoint so that the vehicles go way out and around. That way they're not cutting down this main road anymore. It might take a little bit longer, but it means that our coverage for the bricks, it includes this place, it includes this place. It means that we're covering more of the city that we might not have been covering before, which I can only imagine is a good thing, right? That's kind of what we want to be doing. We need to get this bricks number up a little bit, but I'm sure we'll get there. I'm sure it'll be fine. Now, I talked in the last episode about goods and I mentioned I wasn't going to focus on it because my worry was that we weren't going to get there. And we didn't. I want to get there today. I want to look at this goods situation. So if we are to have a little bit of a look up this way, up towards Montgomery, I think what we're going to do is we're going to lean into this idea of reactive. No, the mine's gone. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good at all. Okay. That slightly complicates things. Right. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't paying attention in the slightest to the fact that that mine is now gone. We do have a Wichita Falls coal mine out here, which I guess is acceptable. A little bit easier to get to than this one. I guess we can get rid of this guy now. It's a little bit sad, isn't it? I really wasn't paying attention to the fact that that is just not a thing anymore. Okay, well, that's why do I keep pausing? I wasn't pausing the game. There's nothing to move out here. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about that. I'm not thrilled about that at all, but it's fine. I I'm wondering then, would it be worth... I don't think it would. I was going to say, would it be worth setting up another giant train? But there's absolutely no way that it's worth setting up another giant train. No way, because it would be going from here to there. Which, I mean, admittedly that's doable. Admittedly that's possible. That is a thing that we can do. Do I want to do that though is the question. And I don't know that I do, because it just seems really silly to set up another giant. We tried the kind of train line thing last time and it failed miserably. So I don't know that I want to do it again. I don't think I need to do it again. No, we don't need to do it again because we don't have that much demand for the things that I would be doing it with. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take out this road and we're going to connect this guy up to this guy. So we'll take out this section of road as well. And I mean, realistically, we can tidy this whole thing up a little bit. We don't need to do this, but it's something I'm kind of really enjoying doing lately. So we're going to just tidy up all of these roads. All right, so with that done, we do need to get ourselves a truck station up here because that's how I'm going to be doing this entire thing. Even if it is a little bit, well, it's going to have to do. I'm going to have to get a lot of trucks because it is quite a distance to cover, but we can make it work. So we'll get a truck station right there. We already have one down here, but I think what I'll do is demolish it and just replace it with a larger one since we are going to be trying to move a lot of resources here. So we'll get two of those guys. We'll get one up there, one down here. I've chopped out a chunk of this road because the thing we're going to want to be doing is trying to get traffic going around Montgomery as much as possible. I realize that said, the traffic coming out of this valley is going to want to go straight to this guy. So it's not really going to be too important to do that, but I'm going to try and just do this anyway, so that we have that that road that just goes right past the town, so that hopefully, you know, any traffic that does come here can kind of just get around here rather than having to go straight through. That's the goal. I'm also going to just connect this guy straight down as well, since we did get rid of one of the connections there. And yeah, I don't love that hill, but it'll be fine. We'll smooth this out a little bit so it looks a bit less terrible, which I mean, it looks all right. It definitely looks all right. This part here is going to be slightly tricky. I probably should have went with I probably should have just elevated this road, to be quite honest, rather than going with the tunnel, because we kind of need that connection. So let's take a very quick look. Is that something I can do without having a tunnel? Can I raise it up? Oh, I totally can. I can do bridges as well. I don't really want the bridges. I just want that. And I just want this right here. And that is, yeah, that's more than enough right there. I think if I take this part out and reconnect these guys, it might give me a bit of a better hill, which it sort of does. So we'll smooth that out as well. And that's going to be our connection. That's how we're going to get through. We can get past Montgomery. We can get up this way. We could, if I really wanted to, punch straight through here, which admittedly we're going to want to do. So actually, we'll tidy up this road while we're here. Since again, that's kind of the thing that I'm really enjoying doing lately, is just tidying up all of these little country roads, straightening them out a little bit. Doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense half the time, but it's kind of cool. I'm kind of enjoying it. So I'm going to continue to do it basically. Now we'll bring this guy down. We could, if I really wanted to, bring this guy sort of straight through here. Can I connect these together? Can I get a nice angle on this? I sort of think I can. So right about there. I would prefer if this was a curve. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of wondering, can I, maybe not. I don't know if it's gonna let me. I don't think it's gonna let me do what I want to do here, unfortunately. Unless well, maybe. Hold on a minute. I might be able to get a little bit creative here. I'm not too sure how well this is gonna work, but that's what I want to go for. Can I connect these guys? Yeah, I can totally do that. There we go. So that's basically what I'm looking for. It's, again, not great, but does the job. This can go straight up that way. And again, it's now a way to sort of bypass Montgomery whilst getting to everywhere that we might want to go. So at this point, let's start setting up some new lines. We're going to go coal from there. We need it to go down here. So we're going to need to get ourselves another building. Now, the question is, do I want to set these guys up so they each have their own little station. I don't know that I do. I think what I'm going to do is set up the coal and the iron so they both come into the same station about as far away from that as I can possibly get. So right about here, I think is probably solid. $500,000 to build that is a lot of money, but we're going to go for it. We'll smooth it out as well. So yeah, Wichita falls south into here, and it's going to go to platform 3, I guess, and it can go to 1 and 2 as well. So that's going to be our coal, and that's fine. So that is going to be road cargo, and it's WICHITA. We'll go ahead and copy and paste that for everything else. And that'll be coal to steel is what we're going to go for. And the color for this line can be, I don't know, that light green seems pretty solid. We have used it for high point though. I mean, we've got a limited number of colors. We'll go for that sort of aqua blue looking thing, and that'll be all right. We'll get ourselves another new line for the irons. So we'll go into here. We'll sort ourselves out a new line from here to there as well. And it's going to be going to platform 4, 5, and 6. We can go in and make sure to rename you. And it's going to be iron to steel. Get it in the same lovely color. And that'll be pretty solid. So that's going to be how we're turning all that stuff into steel. Now the steel is going to need to get picked up. And I think what we'll do is just have no platforms on the left. We can go ahead and just build another depot right about here. I think is pretty solid. So right about there seems good. It is more or less at a right angle to that road, which is good. And it is going to be going up to this guy. So this is where we're going to be producing the goods. Now, when it comes to goods production, I'm kind of wondering what way I want to do this. I mean, this factory can expand, so I think maybe the steel gets dropped off a little bit further down the road. We can actually get quite a distance away from it. So we'll do there for dropping off the steel, and that'll be fine. So we'll set ourselves up another new line from here to there. It does go up and around, which is perfect. And that is going to be Wichita. It is going to be steel to goods. We'll get that into the right color as well. And so far, so good. So now we need to figure out the plastic. And I guess while we're here, we should also get ourselves a road depot because we're 100% going to need one. Going to be a lot of trucks going around here. I'm not 100% sure if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but we're going to give it our best shot and see how it turns out. Okay, so it's going to be mostly the same process for over here. It is 1 barrel of crude oil out of the oil well. Every 2 barrels makes 1 refined oil. 1 refined oil makes 1 plastic. And then over here, it's 1 plastic, 1 steel for 1 set of goods. So we need to go in and set up some lines again. We're going to be going from here. We're picking up the crude oil. We're dropping it off here. It's technically Huntsville, but I'm going to be calling it Wichita just because it's easier. And it's going to be, we'll do C oil, I guess, just to stand for crude oil. We don't have to type it out every time. So crude oil to oil, and we'll get it painted the right color. Is that the right color? No, it was this one actually. So that's how that's going to be working. It's going to be similar here. So it's going to be oil to plastic. So road cargo Wichita, it is oil to plastic for that one. We'll get it to be the right color there. And we also want to make sure these are all set up properly. So how do I want to do this? I want you to go to platform 4 and also 5 and 6. And that should be fine. Down here is going to be a similar story, going to all 3 platforms. And then for the oil to crude oil one, similar story. So platforms 1, 2, and 3. Down here is going to be platforms 1, 2, and 3 as well. So they're going to all platforms. And then for this guy, we want to do another new line from here. And we're going to be using platform 1, 2, and 3. So we'll set that up as well. So 1, 2, and 3 right there. We want to go from that all the way over to this guy. So that's going to be our plastic delivery. So that's going to be Wichita. It is going to be plastic to goods is what it's going to be. So we'll get that set up just like so. And then looking at this, we want to be using platforms. What platforms do we want to be using? 1, 2, and 3, I think, for this one. So yeah, the left platforms, then 4, 5, and 6 will be goods going out to both Montgomery and to wherever else. So Montgomery gets goods, Oklahoma doesn't. We are going to be trying to bring them down to Salem, I guess. I don't know that I love the idea of doing that by truck, but it could be an excuse to set up some really nice looking roads. So we'll figure that out. I guess what we should realistically do is get ourselves a little truck unload stop somewhere in Montgomery, just so that we do get the goods in there. So we'll set up a new line. It is going to be from here. This actually, why am I doing Wichita for these? These are very much Montgomery lines, but you know what? It's fine. These actually should all be renamed to Montgomery. Now that I think about it, we're gonna have to do that in just a second. But for now, we'll come down like this, and that should be fine. So you're gonna be using platform 4. We'll set it to the same color here, and let's just rename all of these very quickly. Okay, so with that done, they're all renamed. The only thing we need to do now is set up all of the, I guess, the rules, all the filters for all these different lines, which is going to be a bit of a pain, but it's definitely worth doing. And so with all the filters done, it's time to get some vehicles. So if we go in here, our selection's a little bit limited, but these dump trucks are going to be absolutely fantastic for the coal and the iron. So I'm just going to start out, honestly, with 20 of each is what I'm going to do. So we're going to just buy 20 of them. And we'll go ahead and put those on coal to steel and see how that turns out. We'll go and get ourselves another 20 of them right here and see how that turns out as well. So get them painted in the right color. And we're going to do iron to steel. So I want to have a look at the rates of those lines before we go any further. So coal to steel has a rate of 122. Iron to steel has 184. I want those numbers to be as close as possible. So I'm going to manage the coal one. I'm going to grab 2 of the vehicles and duplicate. Brings us to 134. Duplicate again. Brings us to 147. Again brings us to 159. Again brings us to 171. Give me one more. That gives me 177. And one more gives me 183. That will do. That is as close to the same as I can get. So 183. So let's say that the midpoint and that's going to be 90. So for every 2 that comes in, we get 1 steel, which means we get 90 steel. So ideally, we're going to want the rate on the steel to goods line to be 90. So if I go in here and I'm going to be looking for the tarpaulin trucks, I'm going to start with 2 of them. We will paint those this color, and we are going to say steel to goods gives me a rate of 37. That's actually not bad. We can duplicate these guys. That gives me a rate of 75. Give me one more, gives me 93. That's actually roughly perfect. So 93 steel comes over here. We now need to match that with the plastic. So, oh boy. Okay. So that means I want the rate from here to here to be about 183, 184. So if I look at this line, we pin it and we come back over here. So crude oil to oil, we have the tank trucks, which is fantastic news. We can actually use these for quite a lot of this. Give me 5 of those. We'll get them painted up in the right color, and they are going to go on the crude oil to oil line. This needs to be 183. It's 249. Wow. Okay. In that case, sell 2 of them. That gives me 150. Give me one more. It's going to be 200, right? Yeah, 199. So it's going to be higher regardless. That's okay. That's just a distance thing. So, wow. Okay. That's actually kind of fantastic. So if that's there, we want this one to be about, from here to here, it needs to be about 200. So oil to plastic, we'll pin you as well. We're getting a bunch of planes. I need to start doing some stuff with planes. I've done nothing yet. Give me, I'm going to say 2 of these for now. Paint them this color, and it's going to be oil to plastic. So oil to plastic there. 67. Fair enough. Give me one more. It should be about 100-ish, 101. That's fine. So now we have all of those lines going. We should see oil getting produced, which will turn into, or crude oil into plastic. Do we have anything on the plastic to goods line? We don't. So plastic to goods needs to be the same as the steel one, which is 130 right now. Interesting. It's not necessarily where I wanted that to be. So the steel one needs to come down. The steel one needs to be about 90. So get rid of one of these guys. That'll bring us down to 104. 104 is honestly fine. So So plastic to goods need to be about the same, essentially, is what I'm getting at. So if we have a look, we'll get two of these. We'll get one of these guys. We'll paint him the right color and we'll set him on the plastics to goods line. Gives me 12. That's fine. We'll manage those. We will duplicate. And that gives me 23. We can duplicate again. That's going to give me 46. And duplicating one more time while duplicating two of them gives me 69. Give me one more. And I get 81. Give me another one. Hopefully, yeah, 93. That's perfect. So now everything in this line should be working. We have already got some steel in here, which is fantastic news. We should end up seeing more at some point. I'm also wondering whether or not I want to tell these guys to sit and wait. Because we could realistically tell them to sit and wait to have a full load of iron. It's not like they're ever going to run out, which I think I'm going to. So I think just wait, full load of all, and we'll do the same with the coal. Again, there's not really any need to do this, but we're going to do it anyway because I really might as well. So let's say full load of all. That'll be fine. And so now with a couple of vehicles on the Montgomery goods delivery line, we have got some goods production going ahead. We've got all of these vehicles looping around and doing their thing, which is absolutely fantastic. I've also changed a few of them to sit around and wait for a full load of oil or a full load of plastic, which really shouldn't be too difficult given the fact that we have a decent amount of it and a really good amount of oil coming through. Similar story for the steel, I think. If it's not, it's about to be. Yeah, we're going to have you guys wait for a full load of steel every single time. But this is all just up and running absolutely beautifully. It's going exactly how I would want it to. It's all working really, really well. We have admittedly not got as much coal up here as I would like. Not really too sure what's going on with that. Seems like we're getting through it pretty quickly. Although the trucks are filling up really quickly as well. So it's not the end of the world. It just seems that this one is way more keen than the other one. Regardless, it's working out quite nicely. We have a good amount of steel. I'm actually looking at this and thinking we might want to just configure this a little bit so that we maybe want to do something like this. Just one of those buildings, maybe a couple of buildings on that side wouldn't hurt. I'm just gonna, I don't know if I want to do all the buildings, honestly. We'll do a building there, a building there. Can't get one next to it. Can I do a small one? I can do a small one. We'll do something like that. I think that's fine. A couple of little buildings around the place, a little small one in there as well. Just so that we have the extra storage so that if we do end up filling this thing, we don't start losing the steel. Now, what's pretty cool is that the Huntsville chemical plant is doing quite well for itself. If we can start transporting more, this thing will level up. And in turn, that will hopefully cause this guy to level up. And this thing will just be producing ridiculous amounts of everything, which is absolutely wonderful. Very, very much okay with the idea of leveling all of these guys up and leveling this up as well. But I think what we'll do, just to wrap things up for today, I know it's a bit of a shorter episode than the last one. It's gonna be. I think what I'm gonna do is try and build a better connection between pretty much all of my cities in this region. So we're gonna take out this entire stretch of road because right now it is just not one that I love. So take this entire thing back as well. We're going to bring this all the way back. And I'm basically going to try and build just a much, much better connection between all of these cities. So that's going to come right back to here. This guy is going to come out of there. There's a vehicle in the way. I don't love that. Can I get rid of you real quick? So connect these guys together and bulldoze like this. And it just pushes the vehicles all the way back. So push those all the way back to there. And now we need to make some connections. Although I think what might be a good idea is actually redoing this road as well, just to make it look a little bit better. And so let's see what we can do. We actually have a pretty straight shot between the cities here. I also need to do this and get these vehicles sort of out of the way. So oh, that's not what I wanted. Connect you to you, bulldoze this one and then that one. And yeah, we have a really solid straight shot between them here. I think what I'll do, honestly, is I'm going to use the large country road, and I'm curious, can I just do this? Does that look, it looks kind of silly, but it's also just we're not cutting out that much of the terrain really. So I think I'm just going to do that. I know it's not the most creative looking, but it doesn't need to be. It's kind of just a highway. So We'll go with that. I don't like the little twist right at the end, but you know what? It'll be fun. I mean, I could reasonably get rid of that by curving the roads, but you know what? I'm not going to. I'm not that concerned about it. I don't love it, but I'm not that concerned either. And so just like that, we have this big old chunky road that comes down around Oklahoma City and straight into Salem, which is what we're looking for. Now, whereabouts in Salem actually wants these goods? Because I have no idea. It is this little cluster of buildings right here in the middle, which I'm kind of okay with. It's a little bit off the beaten path. We can totally get in there with this guy. And so what we're going to do is set this up as best we can. It's going to go from there and it's going to go all the way up to here. Now, this might be a little excessive. Not really too sure that this is going to work out the way I'm hoping it will, but we're going to try our best. And it's going to be road cargo. We'll call it Salem this time, and we'll say goods delivery. And it's going to need to be bright red. And we're going to try our best. This is what we're going to do. So we're going to load up on goods right here. And I've got no idea what the rate's going to need to be on this. It's going to need to be pretty substantial, really. In fact, the best thing we could probably do is look at Salem's demand right now. It's 44. Ugh. Okay, that's going to make things slightly tricky, but we'll give it a best shot. We got 5 of these guys, paint them red, go down to road, cargo, Salem, goods delivery. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. 25. Okay. Well, we'll double that. And we'll get that up to 50. And we'll see how that plays out. We'll see if that ends up being a good thing, a bad thing. We'll see if this all levels up or if it doesn't. At the very least, we are developing Montgomery. I'm also going to connect these roads together, even though it does get rid of a building. That's fine. Connect those guys together too, because it looks all right. We can actually just run this guy down to here as well, since that seems like where that was all headed. It's actually kind of nice that Montgomery, at the very least, is getting a bit of development. Definitely not going to complain too much about that. Oh, I totally forgot to reconnect all these other things. That's definitely, yeah, that's my bad. Let's reconnect all the things that I've left disconnected here. We'll actually bring some of these roads back as well and just get them all kind of nicely replaced. So bring this guy to here like this. Do I want to do a tunnel? You know what? I'm not against it. I don't mind the idea of doing a tunnel there. Maybe a little bit expensive, a little bit unnecessary, but it keeps the trees and that's kind of nice. This can also connect straight to here. Even though it's not really the best of angles, it gives us just one intersection, which I'm fine with. And this guy is going to be a similar story. We'll go ahead and upgrade you and just run this sort of straight through to there. And I think, yeah, this one down here as well is a little bit disconnected right now. So we'll go ahead and bring a road off of about there. We can bring this out a little bit further. I'm really not keen on the idea that Kansas is now demanding goods. I hope there's somewhere over there that we can, well, I'm hoping there's somewhere over there we can make some goods, because I'm not going to be bringing them from Montgomery. I'll tell you that much. Now, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to try and max things out a little bit here. So production here can be 200. It's currently 124 because I think this guy is at 248. So yeah, 124 and 124 will be 248. I'm going to bring this up to 400 is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the rate of this guy up to 400. So I'm going to pin this and we're going to get 2 more of you. And that brings us to 373. Give me 1 more. That brings us to 435. In fact, if I just get a few more of these, can I get that to about 600? Because that's where it's going to be eventually. Over 600 is fine. 623 is pretty solid. These guys can do their thing, although I would like to... I think I want to get a few of these buildings. I think that seems like a fair idea, just to make sure that our storage isn't getting too crazy. We got a few down there as well. Get a little small building right there. I think we are still losing cargo though, so we'll just expand this platform a little bit further so that we hopefully don't continue to lose cargo. I think we're going to regardless though. Oh no, there we go. So now that that is hopefully going to be moving as much as is possible, we should see production down here increase once the extra vehicles get out here. And so this will now be able to produce up to whatever it wants to produce, which means that this line is going to need a little bit more, quite a few more vehicles on it, which means this will produce more plastic. So yeah, the knock-on effects ideally Well, we have to keep in mind the demand in the other towns as well, but in theory, we should see some good things happen here. We've also got a lot of goods sitting around, quite a few of them wanting to go to Montgomery, which I'm completely fine with, honestly. Oh, this thing's actually looking pretty good. This is getting ready to level up as well. Transport, I think, is that's the transport of the end product, right? So if I pin this and look at consumers, oh no, it is leveling up now. Good. So 68 for Montgomery. Salem is 32. If I look at the Montgomery one, it is 56 right now. So if I get like one more vehicle on there, that'll go up to 84, which is good. And Salem is 50, so that should be fine as well. So in theory, we should see both of those get moved really nicely. This levels up. That should then trigger this thing to level up eventually. And then same story down here as well, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Also, we're over $1 billion now. I just noticed. I don't know how that's happened. Where are we making? What's my money doing? This train line is doing ridiculous things. This one down here is, wow. Wasn't expecting to be over $1 billion by 1942, but here we are. All right, so now that this thing has leveled up, we should see our production start to increase quite nicely, which we should then start to see this guy ship more and produce more. We should see this guy wanting to level up as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So good. Everything around here is wanting to level up. Are we seeing similar from this guy? No. No, we are not. And that's because the steel is just sitting around. So if we look at the consumers here, 148 is the amount that we're shipping. If we look at you, 107, can I get one more vehicle on that line to bring that up to roughly 148? We'll get one more on top of that as well. Get 161. So that should start moving absolutely everything, which is what we want. And then these guys out here are just doing great as per usual. They're mines. There's no stopping them once they get going. Now it looks like the Huntsville oil refinery has just leveled up, which I absolutely adore. So its production can now go up to 400, which is actually higher than we can do here. This thing can only produce up to 600 in a year. So reasonably, we could have two oil wells that supply this thing. And I do think do we have another one nearby? We have this one down here. So we could, in theory, supply this with a second oil well if I really wanted to. I don't necessarily want to, but it is a thing that we could do. This guy will probably level up at some point as well, which is fantastic news. And so across the board, by the looks of it, Montgomery's doing really well on its goods, which I love to see. Montgomery's growing quite nicely. And then looking down this way, Salem is yet to receive any goods. Very good numbers on the bricks, though. That's actually what we were hoping for on the old bricks front there. So hopefully we see the goods come in a little bit sooner than later. It's I think it was this road that the bricks come in on. That might actually be the first brick delivery right there. It absolutely is. 170,000 for the bricks from Montgomery. Don't mind if I do. That means that we are now providing Salem with everything it could want. Obviously not the maximum, because that's going to take a little bit longer to figure out, but that's not bad. That's a pretty solid start in getting more goods and supplies and all that stuff into Salem. I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that. My only concern really is going to be getting more machines in here and getting more food in here. And we might want to look to some other sources. So you, for example, that's the Salem food production. This train is doing okay. It's a little bit outdated, actually. Let me have a look at something here. So what are we doing for this exactly? We are doing a whole bunch of, what if we just did a giant train? So it's 2 grain to 1 alcohol. It's 1 alcohol to 2 food. What if we did a giant train? Let me have a look at the specs on this guy. Let me manage this vehicle real quick. So what do we got right now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 box cars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 8 and 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. What if we did 16 of each? What if we did 16 of each? I might regret this, but I'm gonna give it a shot. We have the money. We have $1.1 billion. It's not like I can't afford it. Oh, look at you. Look at you. It's a beautiful looking train. We could go for some of these guys. I don't know if we've got that whole thing electrified though. We could do diesel as well. I don't think we need to go super fast because we're not going to be, these are slow tracks that we have here unless I turn it into high speed, which I could. I reasonably could turn it into high speed rail, which might be silly, but you know what? We're going to try this is what we're going to do. I don't have any new things here. So we needed what, 16 gondolas and 16 boxcars. Oh no. Am I really going to? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I've got to. I'm going to go for a slightly darker red on the gondolas though. Oh man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of those. And the same here. Now that, if I do say so myself, doesn't look terrible. It's a little bit long for the station. It does unfortunately block traffic, both on the way in and the way out, which is not ideal to say the least, but it's a cool looking train. So we've got that going for us. It's definitely, it's definitely a cool looking train. My hope is that what that will do is just bring a ridiculous amount of food into Salem. Although what I'm also realizing is that, no, the demand for food is still very much localized. Okay, I was about to say that we might have a problem with needing to move it around, but no, we don't. So this guy pulls into the farm station, completely fills up with grain, which is fantastic. So we're at 192 on grain. So that's in theory 192 food is what that could turn into if all things work out the way I'm hoping that they will. Assuming it doesn't get weird again, which it does sometimes, but assuming it doesn't, that's a lot of food for good old Salem. Oh, so it turns out that the chemical plant up here is doing a lot of work. It's actually going to level up again. Consumers wise, 236 on the goods factory. So that means we're going to want to go in here and bring this number up to 236 as well. So we're just going to duplicate those 8 vehicles and bring that up to 184. 2 more of these guys will bring us up to 207. 2 more brings us up to 230. And we'll do 230. So we're going to be under just a little bit, but that should keep us good. I'm also thinking we might want to look into just a couple of these buildings to try and prevent losing the goods and losing the plastic. So we'll get a few of them on the sides as well, just to make sure that we aren't, losing anything. And that'll be good. So that's again, exactly what we're looking for. I also want to smooth this out because it looks absolutely terrible in a couple places, but we'll fix that just like so. Looking over at this guy, it is full production, which is exactly what we want. This guy is doing fantastic as well. We have a lot of goods going out. If we look at consumers, Montgomery wants 107. So if I just look down here, well, yeah, it needs 121 now. It's doing very well though, good old Montgomery. Very, very happy about that. Now in other news, we have some train cargo here, which is the machines production for the High Point. Isn't this the first train line that we ever did? I'm pretty sure it is, which is interesting because I don't think it's doing all that good, to be quite honest. I think it's as full as it can be. There's a lot of machines just sitting around there. And those machines, I mean, they come down, they get dropped off here, right? Yeah. And then they go to Salem. So we might want to make that train bigger as well. There's definitely a chance that we want to make that train a bit bigger. The thing is though, we're bringing all this steel and silver up to here. We could bring it to here now. I don't think this was always here, the Salem Machines Factory. This is a new thing, but I might try and use this, which might mean that we can retire that old train line because all it's doing is bringing silver and steel from this area down here up to a place where we can kind of get access to it. I mean, we have bringing the silver up by train's probably not a bad idea. Bringing the steel up by train's not a terrible idea either, to be quite honest, but the actual end production doesn't need to be up there anymore. We don't need to bring the machines down to be then driven into Salem. We can just bring the silver and the steel to here, which I think reasonably that's what we should do. I think we probably just want to look at getting a little station in here. I was going to wrap things up. I was going to say that could be a thing for next time, but honestly, it's a relatively small project. It isn't really going to take all that long, I don't think. So very, very quickly, we'll bring this out here. We'll take this guy out. We'll get ourselves a little road that just comes across like this. So we have ourselves that little space, which is perfect. Can I get myself a cargo terminus station? I just need one track, high speed. I need it to be quite a long station. And I want it to basically be right in here. Now, obviously, this track's going to have to go away, which is a little bit unfortunate. It is the original train track, but it does need to go because we just don't need it anymore. Can I put it like right next to this road? Is that a thing? Can I get it anywhere in here where this is going to work? I don't really think so. I might have to mess around with this slightly to make it work, which is a bit unfortunate. It'd be interesting, I guess, if I sort of swing it around this way and kind of put it on that road, because then it would be probably an easier connection. So maybe that's actually what we do. We'll put it right there. And then this track just needs to sort of come up and in that way, which I think makes more sense, to be quite honest. So that's actually what we're going to do. We'll bring this track sort of up and over. So looking at it, we want to go to tracks. We want to get the high speed. We want to go from like here straight into there. And that's cutting it a little bit fine with those stations and whatnot, but that'll be all right. And now I guess what we need to do is we need to go from High Point. We no longer go to Huntsville. We go to this guy, Salem North, and that is going to be our drop off. So Salem North is going to be where we are unloading the silver and unloading the steel. So this guy and this guy get dropped off. We're not loading up on anything anymore. At High Point, it is, well, we don't need to stop at High Point actually, so we can just take that out. And that seems fine, honestly. It is going to cause some problems though, now that I think about it, because this is the food line. Yeah, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. If we're going with an oversized train, which I would like to do, I would like to use a slightly oversized train here, that is going to block our food line. And the food line itself is probably going to block this guy. This might not actually be a very good idea with how I've got this set up right now. I might want to reconsider this somehow. I don't know what way to reconsider it, but I'm probably going to want to reconsider it. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking for this entire thing. We're going to have the train come up. We're going to have it drop it off here, which is fine. I think this is a pretty good looking station. It does the job. And now all we need to do is get some trucks that are going to take the machines into good old Salem. So what we'll do is get ourselves a few platforms in this thing. We'll try and get it about as far away as we can possibly go, which is, I'm going to say probably there, just to be safe about it. And then is that at the right angle? That's probably good enough. And then what we can do is go and say, let's see, road cargo, Salem machines delivery. So we want to just take both of these stops out reasonably. So put that one there. So Salem Annex is where we're going to start. And then after Salem Annex, I have no idea where we want the machines. Now that I think about it. So the machines are going to be kind of clustered in here by the looks of it. So do we have anything going to here? We do. Anything going to here? We do not. Okay. So that's the one that we're going to be looking for. So we want to go to this. Wait, was it this one? Which one was it? It was this one, the one right in kind of like the middle here. So if we go and look at that line, we want to add a station here, and that should be fine. So that's Salem machines delivery. You are going to be loading up on machines right there, and that should be fine. Okay. So now machines production should be a little more straightforward. We're not bringing them back on the train anymore, which means I can actually go to this train and modify it so that the only things it'll be carrying will be the steel and the silver, which I'm kind of here for. So looking at you, you're really not carrying that much steel though, which is really concerning. Although that might be because this entire line broke down at one point. But anyway, let's manage the vehicles. Let's go to you. We want to take out the box cars because we just don't need them anymore. And honestly, we could probably do with replacing the locomotive as well. Put something a bit more powerful on the front there. So let's throw this on there. I don't know if it's going to work. No electric path. Ooh. What have I not got electrified? I don't have this station electrified for one. Okay, let's fix all of that very quickly. And with that done, we have the new train heading out, doing its thing, which is fantastic news. Admittedly, still doesn't have as much steel as I would like, but I can live with that. It's hopefully going to be all right. And it's hopefully going to mean that eventually we'll get this all going. Now look in here. We have a lot of tools sitting around. Let me have a look at the rate on this line. So this line is 185 on steel. So 185 on steel, double that is 39. So 390 on this guy. So looking at you, you're 252. So yeah, we could probably do with a few more vehicles on here. We'll bring that up to 302. We'll bring that up to 353. And that'll get us more tools going into to Salem as well, which is expanding really nicely. I've got to be honest. I really like how it's going. The machines are way down. The food is way down. The food being way down is a little bit surprising. How are you looking? 178 food on board. I don't think the food being down is going to be a problem for much longer. I'm going to be honest. I think the food situation's about to resolve itself, which is lovely news. I don't know how much money this line's necessarily going to make, but we're going to find out together is what we're going to do. A solid only 1.9. That's a little disappointing, actually. Salem food situation has also not really been sorted out. Interesting. That's a little bit weird, I guess. Do we want to... Is there anywhere else in Salem that wants food? Not really. A lot of bricks, though. A whole lot of bricks. A whole lot of tools, too. And now that I think about it, the tools delivery should probably go to multiple places as well, but that's something I can worry about in the future, I think. All right, so with a few final changes, and I mean final this time, we have a whole bunch more steel on the train. We've got plenty more on the way. I've got more trucks on the way to start moving more of the coal and the iron down here as well. So steel production should increase quite nicely, which means we should see machines production go up quite a bit as well. Machines at the minute going to be a little bit rough around here because we don't have the steel for it, but we'll get there, and that's what's important. Machines are way down in Salem right now, but everything else is up, which is great. And then looking up towards good old Montgomery, we've got some goods in here, which is fantastic. The consuming is going all right. Looking over this way, we have a whole bunch of oil. This guy is doing pretty well. This guy's doing pretty well. This is doing pretty well as well. So not bad. Honestly, not bad across the board. A whole bunch of steel sitting around as well, which you absolutely love to see. I'm actually just really pleased that Montgomery seems to be, thriving really with the goods coming in here. I would like to see some machines. I think maybe Montgomery might end up being a little project that I take on at some point here. Getting some machines in Montgomery might be slightly tricky. I don't want to use the same factory down here. That's for sure. I want to maybe try and set up a little machines route somewhere else. Like up here would be kind of nice. Right here would be solid. Just using some wood, some steel, just make some machines out of all of that. That seems like the way to go. That seems like a great way to do things. We have the same over here as well. Although the problem is that there's no sawmills nearby. There's coal here. There's iron there. We have a steel mill right here. No sawmills though. That's annoying, but I guess we can bring it over, right? We have a forest right there, so we can take the wood from that forest to whatever the nearest sawmill happens to be. We have sawmills over here by Norfolk, for example. We could use these guys and just take it over by train or something like that. So maybe that's what we do. Anyway, as we're sitting down here with 830 silver, 137 steel, I think we can go ahead and call it a day. I think we can go ahead and leave it there for today. I'm quite happy with how things are going. $1.3 billion is pretty solid. 30 million from the steel line, the oil sand one, 16 million. Salem to Kansas City sitting solid around anywhere from 10 to 12 million on that one. And then lowest is food production, which is struggling. Definitely struggling, but not the end of the world by any means. Does this thing fill up now? No. Wait. Oh. It only half fills up, doesn't it? Wait a minute. Is there a reason I'm doing it that way? Hold on a minute. Am I being dumb here? Oh, it's 2 to 1. Okay. No, I'm not being dumb. I could put more more flatbeds in the train though. I think I'm gonna. I know I said it was done for today, but I think I'm gonna put more flat cars on it because at this point, why not? Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Sure. Sure. 6 more flatbeds. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Modify and then paint it that color. There we go. All right. So now we can carry more steel, which means we can carry more silver bars as well. Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I'm so keen. So keen to get these machines into Salem, which we are now doing again, by the way. We're now aiming for 1,400 people in Salem, which is lovely. It looks great. I love that it's starting to build on the other side of the ring road as well. So we're really starting to see it just sort of enclose around that thing, which I adore. I want it to go around the train station too, kind of the way, obviously the way High Point kind of was forced to, but San Francisco at some point hopefully will. I know down here, Garland, for example, Garland is starting to surround its train station. Absolutely love that. Very busy train station. We might want to look into some better trains for that, but we're doing it next time. I keep doing this. I keep saying we're done for today, and then I don't end the episode. We're done for today. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.